All right. Okay. Why can't I see? Okay. For some reason, it's not showing on my end, but hey, whatever. I'm cool with it. All right. So, hi, everybody. Those who are going to join, those who are just kind of popping on. Don't mind me, just got something in my eyelash. Welcome to my sewing circle. So, hi. Ooh, got a little twisted here. Oh, that's right, I'm knitting. I'm not crocheting. Everything's got to be on this side. Oh, shoot. I'm going to throw you that way. How did this get tangled? Oh, I know exactly how this got tangled up. Like, how the hell did this get tangled up? Never mind. I know exactly how it did. Kitty cat. So, yeah. Well, anyone going to be popping on, welcome to my live. My name is Teal Lizard, and I am working on an earmuff right now, a headband ear warmer. So I am just doing your basic 5 patterns of basic pattern, easy pattern. This is like anyone can do this. It's a really good beginner pattern for me personally. It's kind of like you're having a short scarf. So everyone does the knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one. I'm not really into that one. I like this pattern specifically. I kind of just made it up, to be honest. When I do things like this, when I create projects, I just kind of do it that way because certain patterns are fun to do, but there are certain elements that are better. And I'm all about it.
I'd love to show you what a K-12 powered school is really like. Step inside. Here, you can dive into subjects you love. Move fast.
Ooh, I need to go get my my kitty cat ring, my tension ring. So I'm just going to kind of talk about it on here a little bit. I am just doing this. This is fun. Basic knitting pattern. Simple, easy to do. This is a simple headband. Simple, easy to do. Nothing's too crazy. 5 rows of knitting of the knit stitch and then 5 rows of the purl stitch. So it creates a nice little ribbing effect. And it's pretty cool because I'm going to be having it where I'm going to twist it at the top. So it just gets twisted and kind of bunched at the top, so it gives a nice little knot. And that's like to kind of tailor it to size. So yeah. Nothing too crazy. What's pretty about this, I think I'm on row number 3 still. It's one of my favorite yarns so far to work with. Simple, easy, nothing's too complicated. I guess for anyone really like looking back on this, you totally can watch this. So one of the reasons why I decided to do this, I think I've said before in my last 2 videos, is I don't really see a sewing where. It's kind of hard for me to get to a sewing circle. If there is one, I don't see them advertised. And I feel like a lot of those secrets aren't being told specifically. And I don't know if it's just because we don't have that sense of community anymore. Because sewing circles were like, I used to go to, probably everyone does. I'm not, it's probably just where I'm at right now. They're not available. And that's fine. That's just what it is. And I got my coffee here. I'm very happy for that. I got my coffee here. One thing I'm so grateful for is coffee. Everything is like, I just, going back to what I was saying, sewing circles are awesome. And I don't know if it's because, number one, I just don't have the transportation mode to get there. I don't see them advertised as much on Facebook. I feel like they're more in the bigger cities. I've been looking to see if there's any churches and things like that, just so I can kind of like get in and have a sense of community. But I feel like that's what sewing circles are. They're a sense of a crafters community where women, men, those who know the craft and have done the craft for many years are able to do what they want to do. They kind of teach you. I was listening to a very, very beautiful podcast from the BBC about the history of crocheting and the history of knitting. And it's very interesting to me that the first recorded knitters were men, which makes perfect sense to me. Um, they were seafaring men working on the nets. That makes perfect sense to me. Military men all that makes perfect sense to me. Period. Because when back in the day, you couldn't really go buy another net. You fixed your net. You worked hand in hand, and you fixed your net to fish, because that was survival. Um, Small home ec things are still taught in our military today. So again, that makes so much more sense to me. Men were the first knitters, and there's some debate over the very first artifact, of knitting, which is a pair of Egyptian socks. They're woven, so it's a specific type of fibers, and because clothing fibers disintegrate over time. This specific type of, some are saying, oh, it's absolutely like it's a crocheting technique, it's a weaving technique, which actually go hand in hand, according to the BBC. The term for crocheting is weaving in artifact history. Same thing with knitting. Knitting is considered knotting, like you're just tying knots. So that technique, like knotting and netting, that's where they think that's where they think the term knitting derived from linguistically. Very awesome. I was listening to a nice Spotify account. It's the history of knitting. Pretty neat. Crocheting is kind of the same thing. Like those terms, are very knitting is older. The term for knitting is older than crocheting. Crocheting is from like that. Those terms and word is coming from the 1850s. It's right before the Industrial Revolution. It's way before the Industrial Revolution, but during that time, like the period before. And I just thought that was really interesting. Knitting itself, the practice, they're saying, came, like it's recorded in the Sumerian, Mesopotamian area, like the Middle East, or like Islamic era, which again, that goes hand in hand. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Cradle of civilization. That's where it's going to come from. Like, it makes perfect sense. You're going to start seeing a lot of that, especially on cave drawings. You're going to see that in the home horror things, especially around seafaring, that type of weaving. That makes perfect sense to me. And if anyone else has some amazing knowledge about that or their own theories, go ahead, post it. I'd love to hear your take. Yeah, knotting is like knotting, knitting. Knitting that we know now is considered, according to what that podcast was saying, a few podcasts I was listening to, this is like, I don't want to say Anglo-Saxon, but it's like Viking. That they called it Viking knotting is what it was called. It was actually it was cool because it's a specific type of stitch. Which I'm like, oh shoot, that's awesome. So technically, what we think of as knitting with the two needles is considered a Viking knot, like a Viking knotting, knitting, medieval time, like, what we consider knitting. Knitted socks were, like, a lot of it was, they attributed to Queen Elizabeth II, which I'm like, is it really? I gotta do more research on that. I have to do more research on it. I'm not going to take a podcast at its word. I'm not going to take 3 podcasts at its word. I want to make sure that my resources are right. Excuse me. But I just think that's really cool, and I think that's awesome. that she's kind of attributed to. Like she's like, oh my god, instead of stockings, I'm wearing these. They're soft. They're great. So there is actually symbolism in the two knitting needles. I didn't know that. There's like, specifically in medieval culture, there is symbolism in, this is what they're saying. Again, I don't know how true it is. There's some symbolism in the double needle, say, instead of the single crochet hook, or weaver stick is what they can called it, the weaving stick. Um, like there's meaning. Like some of them are saying it kind of goes hand in hand with the male, like the male and the female energy. You go back, some people are trying to connect it to Christianity. Honestly, you're taking two sticks and you're creating something. You can put it down, you can pick it back up. That's simple as that. Yeah, simple as that. I read I read a really pretty book. I read a beautiful book called Why Women Create, and it was basically about the early days of womanhood, of civilization, and certain things and textiles and weaving that women specifically did while men gathered and hunted and gathered. Again, makes perfect sense, right? Women who are raising children, and it wasn't like one woman was raising their own children. No, this was a collective of multiple women in a circle, you know, kind of like this. Multiple women culturally in a circle who are going around, and they're watching their children, and they're watching others' children at the same time, just kind of keeping an eye out, but also at the same time making, weaving, doing texture things, doing things for the home, whether it's jewelry, clothing for their children, clothing for their mate, their, I guess you want to call them husbands, sons, for doing things. I'm going to say the father of their children, because not we weren't always monogamous, but you know we weren't always monogamous. You know, I mean, shoot, Game of Thrones proves that. Huh? We weren't always monogamous creatures. So, but women did that, and weaving and things like that, because they learned that certain plant fibers worked really well against cold. Animal fibers worked really well, for warmth and against wetness, chills, things like that, waterproof. And they were just figuring everything out, and I love that. So we literally took it, looked at it, and said, "Yeah, let's do this," and we did. We literally did, and I think that's amazing. So, and women did it, and what's cool about weaving, and like they called it, weaving, looming, things like that. Um, they put it, if something happens with the kids, you could put it down, go tend to your child, come back, and pick up right where you started, like pick up right where you left off. That's what's so neat about crafting. Whereas you can stop at a certain time, specifically in knitting and crocheting and sewing, you can stop at any time, and you can just, go pick it up, take care of what you gotta take care of, come back and come right back to it. So right now I'm going on my fifth. So you see how pretty that's coming out? You see like those rows? I'm going on my fifth row. This one down here is considered one, so I have 2, 3. I'm on number 4 right now. So I'm sorry. I thought it was on my. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm on my 4th one. I'm going into my 5th one. I'm going into my 5th one. So I'm doing 5 rows of knitting and 5 rows of purling, just to give it a nice, pretty ribbed feel and look. again, this is a great pattern if you just want to learn how to do it. Um, you have 5 rows to concentrate on knitting, on how to knit and what you feel with your tension. And then you also have 5 rows to work on purling, so you know what, how that feels like. And it's going to come out different. I'm gonna be honest. Basic knit stitch is wonderful, easy, simple. I've gotten to the point I'll be watching, like I can watch TV and knit. The same thing with crocheting. I can knit and crochet, and I can crochet and watch TV at the same time, unless it's like a pattern, like the waffle stitch I learned how to do. Which, I'm gonna be honest, that was one of my favorites so far. Was this waffle stitch? I'm gonna do that next time. I'm gonna go get some like nice yarn and things like that, and get that all fuzzy. That's a good. And the waffle stitch is really good if you have thin yarn because it bulks it up. It's like a big bulky scarf. I did it as a single one, but it's really nice when you double line it. You double strand it pretty much. I've done your basic knit stitch with these types. I like it personally. I think it gives a nice bulk to. Yeah, like it gives like a nice bulk. But then again, it's like you never know. Yeah, again, it's like if you guys have any input, anything you want to talk about, please go ahead. Ask away. Seriously, ask away. Like, I'm knitting so much, I'm forgetting that I have my coffee, and I really need my coffee. And the beauty of knitting, you can go as slow as you want, you can go as fast as you want. It's just your pace. Projects are projects. That's all they ever are. They're just projects. A project is a project, and it's okay, okay. No, there's no kitty cat. I wish there was a kitty cat. I wish there was a kitty cat. I do. I wish there was a kitty cat. I'd be like, come on. I do. I wish there was a little kitty cat. I'd be like, come on. Come on. She's funny. She just kind of stands around there and looks at me like, excuse me. I'm just trying to think of what I can talk about until people come on. Maybe I'll do Twitch next. I might do Twitch. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I'll do Twitch. I highly doubt anyone's gonna pop on, but if they do, hey. No, just anyone who wants to learn how to knit. Literally anyone who wants to learn how to knit or learn how to do cables. I am gonna tackle that 5-point Saxon cable. Talk about hands hurting. I'm not even kidding. My hands hurt all the time. I'm gonna be honest with you. My hands after doing a cable stitch will hurt. Yours may not. I'm gonna try to do it as comfortably as possible. I personally say when you're doing a cable stitch or cable project, go with a size bigger than what you want. Doing a small size needle, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. That's my personal experience. It sucks. It sucks. Your hands hurt. You start getting cramps. Like, and nothing wrong. Like, yeah, it comes out beautiful. But then you look at it and you're like, my hands are in an arthritic old grandma like rhythm right now. All right, I'm just turning over right now. Excuse me. I don't know. Maybe I want to. Yeah, I'm gonna do this one more. I'm gonna do 5, and then
At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what big wireless does. They charge you a lot. We charge you a little. Think with their name.
I'm probably gonna be around like 12:30. I want to give my live a chance. I mean, I'm at 25 minutes right now. I just want to give it a chance to other people to come and look and see. And if you guys start interacting, that'd be awesome. But yeah, like I said, knitting your basic knit stitch. It's easy, it's fun. You don't have to think about it as much. And soon, if you do it often, you'll really get to the point where you're like me, where you're like watching shows. Like, one of my favorite things is I call this knitting season. Right at the beginning of August, for me personally, where I'm from, up north, where I'm from, um, where I used to live, knitting season began at pretty much in the middle of August because it was like the air's changing. The air is changing. There's something cooler happening. And it was like, ooh, I get to start knitting now. I get to start projects now. It's like the knitter in me starts to awaken. Because it's like, ooh, warm clothing, warm scarves, warm mittens, and things like that. I actually hear crocheting mittens is easier than knitting mittens. And I want to try doing that. I think I can actually. Um, Maybe that is something I'll do on this channel. We'll do it live together. I don't know. I'm actually on like the live to see if my live video is showing up. I don't know. Maybe someone will find it, and maybe someone will be like, "Hey, really? Hey, come to my sewing circle. It'll be fun." Right? I'm like, yeah, come to my sewing circle. Okay, this is pretty cool. I'm kind of seeing myself on live right now.
Okay, this is pretty cool. I'm kind of seeing myself on live right now.
Oh shit! Look at that. Oh shit! Look at that. Okay, that's pretty neat. I can do that. Oh my god! Look, I popped in. I'm just taking myself off now. Go back to my cafe music. Oh, I do see somebody else. Oh, no, it's only me. Okay, that was pretty cool. Um, something I always wanted to try, I guess. One of my favorite stitches is your basic Celtic cable, the simple Celtic cable. I personally like it. I'm just trying to think of what else can I say. Oof. Another thing too is when you get old, bleh. Oh, that's the other thing too is every time I'm getting old, like I get old, I'm like, oof. I'm literally making a project right now. I'm having a blast. This is fun. Pretty much, I'm literally just doing a sewing circle. I actually have a coworker who I'm gonna be like this. I'm actually giving to my sister, but I have a few coworkers I'm gonna start making gifts for. I just have to go buy some really good yarn. Maybe I'll treat myself to my birthday. Oh my god, what's your favorite craft store? Oh, I should write that. Tell me, what is your favorite craft store to go ham in? Okay, so here's the cool part. So now, even though I know no one's listening and no one's watching this, but hey, whatever. Fun tutorial. We're doing everything live. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Not like your regular, average person, I guess you want to say. So here we are right now. It is kind of a little crumpled up, but the way how it's going to be coming out, let me just straighten this part out. Just straighten this. Yeah, you can tell right now, like my tension is not, like my tension's a little tight, specifically on this row. And that's going to happen. You're going to have different types of tension, specifically if you're just kind of weaving in and out or you're doing other stuff. So I'm just kind of pulling it so that you can see the stitches. Here I am right now. I'm going on to my 5th row. So I have, you may see it better, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. But really I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now you can see that. Here's your bottom right here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, where the hell did I get 6 from? Oh, I think I doubled that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no, I was right. See, this is what's hilarious. This is what's hilarious. I was right. This whole one is 1. You have 2 under here, 3 on the top, 4 on the bottom, 5 on the top, 6. So technically we're doing 6. And so it really should be 5 and 5. So I really should have stopped and did the purling on the other side. But on this side, here's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If that makes sense. So where I turned over on the front is going to be 6, but on the back is going to be 5. So now, purling is different. Instead of going up at the top, you see where I'm crossing this way? So I'm going to be crossed like this instead of going this way. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to go through the front and go down. That's where we start. That's how we differentiate between knitting and purling. Knitting, I go up here behind the needle. You see that? Purling, I go in front. So what I'm going to do is hold this, go in front, loop like that, I'm going to loop like that, push it through so I get behind here. So you can see I'm like now behind and lift over. That one's not the best because it has like I'm attached. Let's see if I can get a few in here so that you can see it. So when you do knitting, actually let me get in here so that you don't get in here. So when we do knitting, I push my needle through the back. I loop around and then I pull to the front. Then I cast over. Now, going to undo that. With purling, I'm going through the front, yarning over, push it through behind, and cast off. So you're literally doing knitting in reverse when you're purling. It's just one needle is in the front and one needle is in the back. My lead needle, which is this one, my lead, because I'm right-handed, it's my leading one. That's going into the front with purling instead of in the back with knitting. And what's nice is that then your yarn stays in the front, so you know to keep purling instead of knitting if it was behind it. So your yarn goes with your leading needle. It's pretty cool. And there's some people are able, some people knit differently. I've seen different ways of knitting. Again, I was taught by a Southern woman how to do it, and I just kind of stuck with it. I know there's, cast off. I know there's different types of knitting ways. I've seen people knit downward. I've seen people knit upward like me. This is how I knit. I've seen people do different jump offs and different ways of doing it. I don't know how you guys do it. I would love to see it. Personally, I don't think there's any one way to knit. I think there's multiple ways to knit. It just depends upon how you are comfortable. If you're comfortable with it, you're comfortable with it. Literally, if you're comfortable with it, you're comfortable with it. It makes your hands feel good. You don't get hand cramps. It makes sense to you. Who the hell am I to judge? Now, this is what I'm going to see. See how this, normally there would be that bulge. That's not here. So this, so now I see that. This is going to be my front side. Now, and maybe this is where it's going to get a little tricky, but it's like, I was thinking about it too in my head. I was like, oh, well, if I do like 5 rows of knitting and then do 5 rows of purling, that'll be pretty. But what I'm thinking in my head is, ooh, wait, I'm going to have to do purling, knitting, purling, knitting. Like if there's a saying that says you knit your knits, you purl your pearls. To give that purling effect. I was like, ooh, wait, hold on. Because if I go on and do purling, it's going to get that bump. I'm trying not to have that bump. So this pattern just changed on the whim. See, that's what's fun. Like, this pattern completely changed on the whim now. I was like, oh. I mean, I can do it the 5-way, like I said, and see how it comes out. But the person who I'm making this for, I know likes a certain type of stitch. So I'm like, if you want to do it that way, it is going to come out different. It's like, if you want to do it this way, if you're going to do it my way, the way how I'm doing it, because now that I just figured it out, like what I want, I was like, oh yeah. Like I said, patterns are going to change. You take certain elements from different patterns and you just go with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. Legit, nothing wrong with it. All right, y'all. I was hoping someone was going to pop on, but that's okay. Who knows? Maybe someone will come on tomorrow night. Oops. Maybe someone will come on tomorrow night and let's have a different talk. I think I might actually look into Twitch. I hear that's like easier. No, YouTube's fun and all, but like, I don't know. We'll see. If I don't start seeing people the next couple of days, because this is like my second live, who knows? Yeah, who knows? All right, lovies. So I'm going to continue on, finish this up. Maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow. You never know. Hopefully. I always appreciate it. Guys who are watching this after the live, go ahead and comment what's your favorite craft store to go completely ham in, and tell me what stitch you like the most or what pattern you like the most. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next live. Bye.